guys, welcome. I'm Jenna and today I want to talk you through the products that I would purchase if I lost all of my makeup collection. So these are basically the products that I would purchase first because I love them so much. I am having to rely on artificial lighting this morning. The sun is absolutely brutal, so hopefully it doesn't look terrible. Or too bright or anything like that. Also, ignore my janky nails. My daughter had a birthday party to go to yesterday and she did my nails at the birthday party. So we'll ignore those. But let's get into these products. I'm wearing most of them on my face as well. Before we get into the video, if you like beauty style content, makeup reviews, skincare reviews, try-ons, that type of thing, then I would love it if you would subscribe and also like this video. Right, let's get into it. Now the first product is the Maybelline Skin Perfector 4-in-1 Glow. You can see I have almost finished this up. I've got like the tiniest little bit left in there. I absolutely love this product. This is probably the only primer that I will consistently use. And I did try and film this video a little bit earlier, but both of my kids are here and it was impossible. And I was thinking, I don't have a primer that I use all the time and that I love. And then I remembered I use this all the time and I love it to the point where it is almost finished. This is essentially a 4-in-1 product. It is a primer, concealer, highlighter, and BB cream. I really just use it as a primer, like a glowy primer. I did forget to put it on my face today, so don't use that as any sort of, gauge as to how glowy it is. But it really does smooth things over, and it just gives this beautiful like lit from within glow. It's I haven't tried the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, but I think it would be pretty similar to that, where it just gives this really beautiful subtle glow to the skin, but it's not glittery. Like, I hate glittery primers or just any sort of glittery highlighters as well. I don't like glitter unless it's on my eyes. Now this does get pretty grubby, but one feature I like about this is it does come off. I'm not going to take it off now because it's pretty, like, it's got product in it and I don't want to get that all over my hands. But you can literally just pull this sponge off and go and wash it, which I really, really like about that feature. Next product is foundation, and it is the Revlon Color Stay Foundation. This one is for combination oily skin. They do have a dry skin a dry skin version of this as well. I do have dry skin, and when I finish this I'll repurchase the dry skin one. They just didn't have it in my shade when I purchased it. So the reason I really love this foundation is because it is a satin finish, so it looks more natural on the skin. And it's just one of those foundations where I can put it on and I don't have to worry about how it wears throughout the day. I have worn this on full days at work where I'm like running around, I'm sweating, all of that kind of thing, and it lasts. And it's just one of those foundations where it wears off evenly. So even if it's worn off in parts, it doesn't look patchy, it doesn't look cakey or anything like that. It just wears off nicely, and it just lasts for a really, really good amount of time. Like, I can literally wear this all day and I don't have to worry about it, and that's essentially what I want in a foundation, for it not to look just weird and just patchy in places, and for it to last. So yes, this would be the foundation that I would purchase first of all. So the next product is concealer, and it would be this guy, which is the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer Serum. This is actually my favorite concealer of all time, like my favorite everyday concealer. The reason for that is because it just it looks so nice under my eyes. I'm in my late 30s now, so like I have fine lines. I've got a lot happening under there. I also have 2 children, so I am perpetually exhausted. And I find that this just, it doesn't look cakey under my eyes. It doesn't settle into fine lines, given that you don't use too much. If you use too much of this, it will crease, but like any concealer essentially will do that. But yeah, perfect every day for me. This is absolutely, like, even when I run out of this, which I will repurchase it because this is so good, so good. Next up, we have bronzer. By the way, most of these are going to be affordable options. There's only a couple that are more expensive. But bronzer, I actually have 2 in this category because I have a stick bronzer, like a bronzing stick, and I also have a powder bronzer, which kind of, I'll explain. But with this one, this is the Australis Dewy and Daring bronzer. This is the shade Summer Fling, which is their lightest shade. This is just, first of all, super affordable. Priceline has a lot of sales, and they are quite often, Australis products are quite often half price. I think I got this for like $7, and it is gorgeous. I'm just going to apply it like over the top of literally everything else that I've applied. So it's a beautiful, like, cool toned bronzer. They do have a more warm toned one if that's more your thing, but this is just so creamy. It looks really natural on the skin. It blends like an absolute dream, and it almost has like a slip to it, but then it'll dry down and it won't, like, it doesn't slide all over your face. It is just such a beautiful product and like the perfect everyday cream bronzer. For powder option, it's an expensive one. This is an $80 palette, but I really do love it. It's the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Bar. And it has the bronzer, and then it has, I think this is like a setting powder. No, this is the glowy powder, and then this is the setting powder. So it's kind of, it's a multi-use product. I'm not wearing this today just because I had already put the bronzer on and I forgot to apply these guys. But this bronzer is a really cool toned bronzer as well, which is what I prefer over like really warm ones. So this looks really, really pretty, and it looks super glowy in the pan, but it's not an overly glowy product. And again, it's not one of those products that has it doesn't have like glitter. It's not a glittery one, but it still gives a really nice glow to the skin. Blends out really, really nicely. I usually just swirl my brush in all 3 of the shades and use that as like a really glowy bronzer. But I do like to use these two powders as well. Yeah, I just don't use powder all over my face that often. When I do, it is using these products though, because they're very subtle. They give that like lit from within glow rather than, you know, like typical highlighter. And I don't think that they really emphasize texture or anything like that, which is definitely something I don't want. But yes, I would definitely repurchase this. So next is blush, and I didn't include a powder blush because I haven't really been into powder blushes that much for the last couple of years. I've really been into creams and liquids. So the blush that I would purchase immediately is the Cloudy Cos blush. This shade is Tulip. I don't know if they have this particular shade on the website anymore. It may have been discontinued, and this is old packaging, by the way. They don't look like this anymore, but this is just such a beautiful pink shade. It is a liquid blush, as you can see, and I just love this because it is very buildable and you only need a small amount. I just put some on the back of my hand, and then I will either use my fingers to tap it out, or I'll use a brush if I want a little bit more pigment. It's what I'm wearing today, obviously, but it's just, it kind of melts into the skin and it looks really natural. I rarely go over the top with this one because it just looks so pretty. And then once it kind of melts into the skin more and it settles in the skin, it doesn't look like you're wearing blush. It just kind of looks like your skin is flushed, and it's so beautiful. It really is. It is my favorite formula of blush. I have 5 of these because I just love the formula so much. But yes, definitely would repurchase this. This is, if I had to choose one blush to have in my collection, it would be the Cloudy Cost blushes because I just love them that much. So for my brow products, I have 2. I have a gel product and I have a like pencil type product as well. I'm wearing both of them on my brows. I did go a little bit intense with my brows, but I'm not mad at it. So the first product is the Benefit Gimme Brow. I do have other brow products, but I always come back to this one. I don't even know the shade of this. I want to say it's shade 4.5. So I love the shade of this. I also love the brush. It's a teeny tiny little brush, which is what I need because I have like 4 eyebrow hairs. And it really does thicken them. It makes you look like you've got more brows than what you actually do. So what I'll do is I'll apply this, and then any sort of sparse areas, I will apply the next product, which is the Quick Brow by the Quick Flick. This is one of those products that will always sneak its way back into my current rotation. I will put this away to try and use other products because I have like a couple of other brow pencils that I want to use up, but this will always end up back over here and get used over everything else. And I love it because it's double-sided. So this side has the little pencil, which is a nice fine tipped pencil. And it's not, I'll show you, it's not, that's not working. It's not super stiff, so it won't break when you're using it. And then the other side is a pen. So this is perfect. I don't know if I can even do this. There we go. It is perfect for doing the tail of my brow because my brows aren't very defined. So I'll usually, what am I doing here with this? I'll usually draw the tail on with the pen side and also do the front of my brow as well, just to give it a little bit more definition. The pen side is also really good at, if you have like just really little sparse areas that you need to fill in, but they're not sparse enough to need a pencil, if that makes sense. The pen's really good. So like if I have one part of my brow that I just need to literally just like fill in one little bit like that. Whoop. That's not a very good example. I will use this. Like if it looks like I'm missing one hair or something, I'll just use this rather than the pencil. Because sometimes if you're using pencils a lot, they look drawn on in the brow. Yeah, but this is a product that I'm going to repurchase as soon as I'm finished. And like I only want to use this. I rarely want to use anything else. I literally have to force myself to use other products over this. That's how much I love it. The next product is eye primer. I have to use eye primer. I have hooded eyes, and the older I get, the more eyeshadows tend to crease. So I use the MAC Paint Pot. This is in the shade Painterly. this is like the perfect eye primer. It's nice and emollient when you initially take it out of the pot, but once it dries down like it's not tacky or anything like that. And it's the perfect eye primer. Products don't crease. And also I don't like clear eye primers because I do have like veins and discoloration on my eyelids. So this is the perfect type of product. And they have so many different shades. Like if you're more warm toned, there would be a shade to suit. More cool tones, there's shades to suit as well. So yeah, I really, really like those. I don't think these are actually eye primers. These are eyeshadows, but I use it as an eye primer. Now, keeping with the eye theme, the next one is eyeshadow, and I really didn't want to. The palette I would purchase, oh my God, the palette I would purchase first is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes. It's like the perfect everyday eyeshadow palette for me because it has a bunch of different shades of just browns in here, but it also has, this is like a satin matte type of finish, and then, where is it? This one is more of like a shimmer because it has, more of a metallic. It definitely has more of like a base shade to it. And then these three are, they have more of a sheer type of base to them. So they look very wet on the eyelid. This would be the first palette that I would purchase because it serves me in so many different ways. Like I would just be able to use this palette and this palette alone for pretty much all of my everyday looks. I have also included some single shadows for those like pops of color, because while this would be the one eyeshadow palette I would be able to use for everyday looks, if I wanted to really amp it up, I would put a single shadow over the top, and it would be a Glamonatrix single. If I had to pick one and one alone, it would be this shade here, which is called Milky Way. This is just, the camera doesn't do it justice. It is just the most beautiful shifty shadow. I don't think it's even picking up the shades on here. So it's a pink base, but it doesn't look, focus on the shade. It doesn't look bright pink. It's more of like more of a fleshy pink, I guess is the best way to describe it. But it also has it has like green glitters in it. It has purple glitter in it as well, I believe. So when the light hits it, it looks green, but then as the light shifts, it just looks pink. It is so beautiful and like such an underrated shadow. Glamonatrix really know their shimmer formulas. They are absolutely beautiful. So I would quite happily just have like this single and this, and I would, you know, that would be most of my eyeshadow looks. Now, moving on to, we'll do mascara first. This isn't the mascara that I would recommend. I just put this here as a reminder because the mascara I would recommend, I don't have. I have used it. I've actually got two recommendations. I've got a high-end and a drugstore. So if we're talking drugstore, it would be the Maybelline, what's it called? Maybelline Falsies Surreal or Surreal Falsies, the one in the purple tube. I had the waterproof version. Absolutely loved that. It gave lots of lift, it lengthened, it held a curl all day. The only issue I have with that one is that because it's waterproof, it was so hard to remove, even with a balm cleanser, which is what I will use for any, like what I will always use for my first cleanse. And I just found that it was really difficult to remove. I would have to really like rub my eyes just to get that off. And the more expensive mascara that I would recommend, which I actually miss having in my collection, is the Tarte tubing mascara. That is that's like my perfect everyday mascara. I don't have a lot of eyelashes and they're very straight, so it's difficult to hold a curl. I have to use an eyelash curler. Like I have to. There's no other option unless I just want them to be, you know, dead straight. So the tubing mascara, not only is it a tubing formula, so it's very easy to remove, but it does not flake, it does not budge, and it holds a curl. It thickens my lashes a little bit and it also lengthens them a little bit as well. So it pretty much does everything for me. I got the mini version and it still lasted me a decent amount of time, and I just was not using anything else because I only wanted to use that. I have like 4 other mascaras that I need to use up first, so I'm not going to be purchasing it anytime soon. But if I lost all of my makeup, that would be the one that I would purchase over the Maybelline too. Like I love it so much. Moving on to lips, and I have 3 lip products. I have lip liner, lipstick, and a lip gloss. So lip liner would be, I need to repurchase this soon. This is the Rimmel Everlasting, what is it? Lasting Finish Lip Liner. This shade is 90s Nude. It's what I have on my lips today, along with a lipstick as well. But this is like the perfect pinky nude lip liner for me. Obviously, different skin tones, different skin depths are going to be different, but this is just the perfect everyday lip liner for me. As you can tell, this thing is tiny. Admittedly, it wouldn't be this small, but my toddler decided to chew on it, and then I had to sharpen it down to salvage it, and it's itty bitty little nubby now. But yes, love this. This is my most used lip liner. Absolutely adore it. On to lipstick now, and I'm not talking about this particular shade, but this formula of lipstick. It's the Revlon Super Lustrous in the cream version, because they have matte, cream, and pearl finishes. I like, oh my god, that lighting. I like the cream finishes. This one's the shade Mink. This isn't my favorite shade. It's a little bit too dark and a little bit too brown for the look I was going for, so I am wearing a different lipstick, but I would definitely repurchase probably multiple different shades in this particular formula. I just have a million other lipsticks, so I'm resisting buying another one of these, even though I want to buy every single shade they have available in this, but I'm not going to. Yes, but this is a fantastic formula, just very comfortable to wear. It is a cream finish, so it's not super drying. It looks satin. They say cream formula, but it's like a satin finish on the lips, and it's just really comfortable. I love it. So it's a cult classic for a reason. And then finally for lips is lip gloss. This is the Cloudy Cos lip gloss. This is in the shade Nectar, which I don't believe, I believe this is a discontinued shade. It's just like a peachy shade. This, I'm going to put some on now. I love this formula. I have 4 of these lip glosses because they're just my favorite formula. It looks like a gloss, like obviously you get that glossiness with it, but it's not gloopy, it's not sticky like some glosses can be. And it almost, how do I explain this? It looks like a gloss, but feels more like an oil. So it's got a slip to it, like lip oils do. Like it feels like a lip oil, but it's glossy like a gloss, and it lasts like a gloss. It's not just gonna like come off your lips immediately like I find a lot of oils do. And like you can probably see here that I've almost finished with this one. I have not finished a gloss in years. So finally, we are down to setting spray. I don't have a particular setting spray that I absolutely love, that I need to repurchase a million times, blah, 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 blah. But I do really like the NYX Marshmallow setting spray. What I like about this one in particular is that it sets the makeup, and it melts in and just marries everything together and stops powders from looking powdery, but it doesn't change the finish of your makeup. So with some setting sprays, I'll spray them and they'll settle down powders and things. Not that I use powder a lot of the time anyway, but they will set everything. They'll meld everything together, but they will usually change the finish of the foundation in particular a little bit. And I don't like that, because if I'm buying a certain type of foundation, I'm buying it partially because of the finish. And then if I'm adding a setting spray to it and it changes all of that, it kind of, I don't like that as much. But this one is one that doesn't do that. It does prolong the wear of my makeup as well. I did actually put a video on Instagram showing that. I used this and a different setting spray, and you can see that they, it's more difficult to rub the products off my arm. I did arm swatches, so it definitely does work. But yeah, it doesn't change the finish of my foundation or any of the products, which I really, really like. One thing with this is that the sprayer is a little aggressive. I don't know if you can see how aggressive that is, but you do need to really hold it back. Otherwise you get like splotches on your face. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. But other than that, the actual product is very, very nice. Alrighty guys, well, if you made it this far, thank you. And those are the products that I would repurchase if I lost all of my makeup. These are the ones that I would purchase first. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. All of those really help my videos to get to a broader audience. Thank you again, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.